All right, so the two things left we have is we want to edit a property or a value, and then we also might want to delete a record. So let's first look at editing, since that one's going to be the most complex, and then we'll finish off nice and smooth with delete. So the first thing is I want to do something. I want to go to the editing page, which we're reusing the entry page, whenever I click on a row here. So since I'm going to be selecting something on the list page and transferring that data to edit on the entry page here, I'm going to add another variable, and we'll call this current journal entry to edit. And this will be an object. And I want to clear this out every time I come to this screen, just so I know that this value is only going to have a value in it if I click an item in the list viewer. So I'm not only initializing it on this page, I'm also setting it to empty, or maybe actually not even empty. Let's set it to null whenever it starts out, and that'll help us out with our logic later. So we'll know that there's something here if this value is not null. And so now I want to add some code or some blocks for whenever an item is clicked. So I'll come to list viewer and I'll get the item click block. And what do I want to do here? Well, the first thing I want to do is get the row object that was clicked. So if I come and I want to store this in that variable I just created, so I'm going to update that. I'll just say set current journal entry to edit. And how do we get, if you recall, this variable here, current user journal entries, has all of the user's entries. And so the way we can get whichever one they clicked on is, there's a list block for this. If we come and we say in list, and the list we want to get something from is this current user journal entries. In this list, we want to get the number. We want to get a number. So if you think about like here in my list, I'd have list item number 1 and list item number 2. So if I click on the first one, this index is going to say 1. And so I'm saying I want to get the first item in this list or the second item in this list. And so that's how we will get the row object or the record, whatever you want to call it, for this. And then once it is selected, I want to come over to the journal entry screen. So I'll just grab a navigate block and navigate to journal entry. So let's test that. We click on one and we come over to journal entry. Cool. Whenever I click on one, nothing shows up here. I want it to show the text that was previously there. And so what I can do is whenever journal entry starts, so remember how we set this variable to null whenever this screen starts? And it's not null whenever we are selecting something to edit it or delete it. So what we can do is when this screen starts, we can check to see if that variable is not equal to null. So I'll grab the variable current journal entry to edit, and we'll say if it's not equal to null, then display the journal entry value in it on the screen. And so we're trying to display the journal entry property of this object if it exists, basically. So now let's make sure it displays. So awesome. There we have, this is my first journal entry. And okay, that's a bug. We'll address that in a moment. Let me go ahead and delete that. We want to make that, we'll add logic for that. That's what we're doing right now. So let's refresh that. Cool. All right, so there we have the value that we're trying to do that. So let's fix that issue. Whenever we click save, we want to update the value that's already in Airtable. We don't want to create a new one. So again, we're going to use this check right here. So let me go ahead and duplicate this check. So if it's not equal to null, meaning if there's something in this entry to edit variable, then we know that we're editing. The opposite of that is also true. If it is equal to null, then we know we're creating a new record. So this can stay the same. And so now we want to do something whenever we are editing. And so we're going to use a different Airtable call for this case. And what we're going to use for this case is update row number. So update row number takes in a row number and the object you want to update that row number with. And this row number parameter that you can pass in is like literally the row number that you see in Airtable. So if I pass in 1, it's going to update this row, so on and so forth. So we need a way to determine what row we are currently editing. So to do that, I'm going to create let me create a return function. And we'll call this get current row. And so this is going to have a separate call to Airtable. And what we're going to do in this one is get a column and do something with the data that's returned. And the column we want to get is the date column. So it's going to give us a list of all the date values from Airtable. And in max rows, what I have seen the trick is you get a math block and you just put in infinity, and that'll give you all of the rows. And so now it's going to grab that list of date values in this column. And what we want to do is find the date that matches the date of the current journal entry that we are editing. What I want to get something from a list. The list I'm searching through is the column of date values returned from Airtable. And I want to find the first occurrence of what date. Well, it's actually going to be the date of this object that we're currently editing. So there I'm saying, Airtable, give me the first row that matches the date for the current record that I'm editing. The reason this works is because we're saving that time value, and that's going to make that date kind of pretty much like a unique ID for the most part for each row. If we weren't using the time value, well then you could have 100 users who add a journal entry on that day and you wouldn't know which one it was. But the time value is really the key here. And so now get current row will tell us what row we're currently on. So I can go ahead and call that, and that'll give us the current row. And we want to update the row with the new journal entry. And so I'll just copy this up there. But we don't need to write over the user ID because that's going to stay the same. So I can actually just take off that user ID. And in this row, it will only update the journal entry value. And then once this is done, we can navigate back to journal list. And that all should work fine and dandy. Let's test it out. So I have 2 items in the list. Let's go ahead and click on trees are green. Trees are green shows up. And so let me say that trees are green or yellow or orange. And then we'll save that. And then so now you can see here it says or yellow starting right there. But I can even look back at Airtable and you can look at this field that it's actually updated that value. And so that is how you, I know that was a little complex. I hope you stuck with me, but that is one of the ways that you can go through the process of updating data in Airtable from Thunkable.